Welcome everyone. My name is Kaylee Graham. I am the Associate Director for Outreach and Student Recruitment in the Fulton Schools of Engineering. We are the Ira A Fulton Schools of Engineering at Arizona State University. So we are the university's engineering hub and tech hub. We house all of the engineering programs, the majority of the tech programs that are offered at ASU. Today in our session, we will be going through our programs, our opportunities for students, the structure of our college and our schools of engineering. We have some of our students with us who will be talking about their experience, and then we will also open it up for Q&A throughout the session, but we do have some Q&A time at the end as well. We do have other sessions offered this week. Right now, I would say we've had 3, so we have 11 left between now and Thursday. They're degree-specific sessions, program-specific sessions. So if you're interested in learning more about us, you can find some more sessions throughout the week. And then at the end of the session, my email and the email for Mike McBride, who is also in the session and is our Director of Recruitment and Outreach, our emails will be there for you to reach out to us later. One of the things that Mike also provided in the chat for you is a link to our Fulton Schools Resource Toolkit. So we pulled together all of the content that we talk about in our sessions and put it on one website for you, and it's broken out by student type, so it's a little bit easier for you to navigate. These are things that we're going to mention in the session today and will be good references for you after you leave our session. So the first thing that we just want to ask is, what type of student are you? So if you're logged into Pear Deck, if you can just select which student type you are, that's just going to help us know our audience a little bit better in the message that we need to provide today and what we need to cover. So I see a lot of current seniors in high school. Congratulations to all of you. You've made it to senior year. So we will definitely cover next steps in the application process and things like that. I see some 9th through 11th grade students as well. So we can talk a little bit about that. No transfer community college students, no parents in there today or teachers. Oh, there's a parent. Hi. So one of the things that's really nice about that resource toolkits link that Mike provided is there's also a category there for parents and families. And so we would encourage you to look at that resource as well. Not only will it provide you information that you should know that your students are being provided, but also some things specific to you as family members of our students. Fabulous. So this slide is really just to help you orient yourself if you're not familiar with ASU and where we're located. We are located in Metro Phoenix. And so we also would like to know where you all are from. So you should have an icon. And while I'm talking, if you can just hover your icon over where you're located. If you are an international student, you kind of hover around the US on the outside. So for those of you who aren't familiar, we are again located in Phoenix. Metro Phoenix is a pretty large footprint, and ASU does have 4 campuses spread over. We are very centrally located in Phoenix, Arizona. I know I'm from Southern California. It takes me about 5.5 hours to get there driving, which is pretty nice. So let's see, a lot of Arizona, a lot of California, Colorado, Texas, Kansas, and East Coast students. Welcome. Maybe some international students as well. Well, welcome to everybody. This definitely helps. We got a lot of out-of-state students today that we can get to that. And so this is just a close-up of Metro Phoenix, and these are the 4 ASU main campuses: West, Downtown, Tempe, and Poly. And so programs at ASU are campus-specific. So that means that each degree program is housed at a specific campus. Within the Fulton Schools, we are housed at the Tempe campus and the Polytechnic campus. We do not duplicate programs across our campuses. So when you pick a discipline, that will automatically tell you which campus you will be housed at. That is your academic home as well as your residential home. And so that means you do not need to leave your campus to complete your degree. All your academic resources, support services will be based at that campus. As your residential home, if you are a student living on campus, which it is expected your first year that you would live on campus, your residential home is based at the same campus as your degree. It's about 30-35 minutes of a drive between Tempe and Poly. ASU does have the free shuttles that goes between all of the 4 campuses that our students utilize. So if there is something offered at a different campus that you would like to participate in, we encourage you to do so. I do know quite a few students who go back and forth between Tempe and Poly for research, student organizations, events, things like that. I know some students who go back and forth between downtown because they might have a minor or another component of their program at that campus. So it's definitely something that our students do. And this slide really is just a big infographic of who we are and some of our stats. So I'd like to give you a minute, just kind of glance over this slide. And if you could hover over the stat that maybe speaks most to you or is very surprising to you or something that you really find valuable in a program. So for example, for me, having a large number of female students in our programs and being highly ranked in women as tenure track faculty is very important. So I would hover over that. Or if I wanted to pick something that stood out to me and was a pretty cool fact, if we as a college, the Fulton Schools, if we were our own university, we would be ranked 29th in the world for utility patents. And so that's a really, really impactful thing to be able to say, because those patents are held by students and faculty at all levels. And so it just really speaks to the type of university we are. We are a tier 1 research institution, so we have a large amount of research expenditures. The majority of our faculty are research faculty or are in industry. So that has a great resource base for our students to get involved in research and industry partnerships. And so, yeah, that looks good. Not a national merit scholars, definitely. Yes, we have a high number of underrepresented groups of students. We do have 46 plus degree programs. ASU's Fulton's constantly adding some more. So we can talk about accelerated graduate programs as well. And something you might have seen on the other slide is we are the largest schools of engineering in the country. And we are actually very proud of that. Engineering programs are very expensive to run. Aviation and tech programs are very expensive to run. And because of our size, we're able not only to provide these programs, but to provide students with a large resource pool and a large platform for opportunities and support services. The other thing that's really great too is that we have a lot of choices for you in your degree program. So if you find that the program you picked isn't quite the right fit, there are a lot of other options for you to move across the schools of engineering. Within our college, we have the 6 schools of engineering. It houses the 25 undergraduate programs and 24 concentrations, plus our grad programs. We have programs located again at Tempe and Poly as well as online. We actually just launched the application for the online mechanical engineering program as well. So that now will be offered as an online degree. If you have questions about what programs we offer and what campuses, that link Mike provided in the chat does have an undergraduate degree page. Each degree program not only has its own major map or curriculum map of the courses that make up that program, but we've provided a video for each specific program down to the concentration that talks about what the program is, what the courses are, the career outcomes, and then has one of our lovely Fulton ambassadors at the end of the video talking about their experience and how they picked their program. So if you're somebody who's trying to decide on a degree program, those videos would be a great thing for you to review. Within these 6 schools, the first 5 you see on your screen are based at the Tempe campus, and then the Polytechnic School is based at our Polytechnic campus. The only outlier to that rule is that software engineering is also based at our Polytechnic campus. So I see some of you are doing it already, but if you want to take your flag and put it over the School of Engineering that you are interested in, or next to the degree program that you're interested in, we just like to see what students are interested in, and we can kind of talk about some of those programs if you have specific questions. Each of these schools has its own school directors and program chairs and academic advising units embedded in a discipline. So they are degree specific advisors. Again, if you've picked a program and you find that it's not the right fit, you can definitely move across the schools of engineering. We encourage students to do that in their first year and a half. So it doesn't impact their time to degree as much. But I do know a student who switched like 4 times and it only added 1 more semester to her. So that is definitely an option. The majority of our programs do have higher admission requirements. compared to the rest of the universities. So we encourage you to look again at that link Mike provided to our website for the admission requirements by degree, because they are all different. But as long as you meet our admission criteria, you are directly admitted into that program of your choice. So on the ASU application, it's just one application for all of the ASU programs, and you would indicate your first and second choice major. And if you meet the admission criteria for your first choice major, then you are directly admitted. We don't have pre-engineering. We don't have like a wait list or only a certain number of students we admit. As long as you meet those criteria, again, you are directly admitted into your program where you are treated as an engineer or a computing professional day one, which is really unique to ASU. So I see a lot of CB, a lot of SIDC, a lot of SEMT, and some Poly students. So we have ambassadors today from both campuses. So we definitely can talk about multiple programs today, which is fabulous. Again, remember, you can put questions that you have in the Q&A. So if you have any questions right now, please feel free to start adding those in there and we can address them as we go along. One of the other things that we do like to talk about on this site too is just the fact that we are interdisciplinary. Engineering and tech is a very big field. It's a very interdisciplinary field, and we want you to be able to have that experience from day one. And so even just the way we structure our programs and our classes allows us to provide that to our students. We really do encourage you to customize your experience both inside and outside the classroom. So inside the classroom, one way that you could customize your experience would be by joining Barrett the Honors College. You could join our Grand Challenge Scholars Program. I know some students will add a minor or a certificate or sometimes even a double major. We get a lot of students who are interested in going to medical school or law school post-graduation. So you can add on like a pre-health or a pre-law track. There's a lot of really cool ways at ASU to get that experience that you need and that you're interested in. And we do, again, you do have to select a major on the ASU application. And so we encourage students, if you're interested in an engineering program, in a Fulton program, we do encourage you to select a Fulton program as your first choice, because we want to make sure that you're taking the right level of math and physics and chemistry. This slide right here really just helps ask some questions or have you ask yourself some questions to help you pick a program or at least narrow down your interest level. As we work with students in our one-on-one appointments, these are some of the things that we go through. And so one of the big questions you can always ask yourself is, what do I want to do with my degree? Do I want to go into research? Do I want to work in a lab? Do I want to go directly into industry? Do I want to continue on to a graduate degree? Different degree programs have different career paths. So that's one thing that you can look at. Another question would be, what types of questions do you like to solve? That's something that our students are doing all the time. They're solving problems, they're asking the questions and solving them. So that's one way to figure out what you're interested in. Some students are interested in something that's a little bit more business or management. So we have a variety of programs that incorporate that as well, like TEM, Technological Entrepreneurship and Management at our Polytechnic campus, or Engineering Management and Construction Management at our Tempe campus. So those are options for you as well. Our students in the computing disciplines, or even if you can't decide between a computing discipline and something like mechanical or aerospace engineering, one question that you can ask yourself is, do you want a program that's heavy in the programming languages? That's a really great way to differentiate between what you're interested in. My brother went through this program, and when he was picking, that was one of the biggest questions that he had to answer for himself, was did he want something that was super heavy in the programming languages or not? And his answer was no. So he chose the path that didn't have as much as some of the other programs. And then an easy one would be, what is your campus preference? There are audio tours on our website of the different campuses, Tempe and Poly, as well as ASU's Visit website has some full campus tours on there that are virtual recordings that you can listen to and watch. So if you definitely have a campus preference, that is something that will help you pick your program. Some things that you can do as you're trying to pick a discipline. I mentioned the degree videos before. Those are really, really helpful to students to listen to what the different disciplines are and what their outcomes are. The videos talk about the major maps, but you can also find those on our undergraduate degree page. So that would be a curriculum map of every term for an undergraduate program and all the classes that make that program. Full Circle is our engineering blog on our website. And so every day there's new articles and features posted about our students and faculty and staff and what they're doing. So you can review those and see if any of those student or faculty stories seem like something you're interested in. Then you can always reach out to the faculty and staff and students to connect to learn more about their program or their project. We have programs like See at ASU and More to Explore, where you can participate in either webinars or hands-on activities when we're in person, and summer programs to help work through the different disciplines. But the one that I think is the most valuable for students is talking to current students. And so we have some of our Fulton ambassadors in here today that are going to introduce themselves later. But you can actually schedule a one-on-one Zoom appointment with a Fulton ambassador through our website. And so talking to those students and understanding what their programs are and what they're doing in the program and how they chose it could be really helpful for you in deciding between your disciplines. Now, one of the things that we always mention is the level of community and support that's provided to our students here at ASU and in the Fulton Schools of Engineering. Because of our size, again, we're able to offer multiple layers of opportunity and support for our students. And so this slide is really just a visual of the 3 layers you're automatically provided with when you are admitted into one of our programs. And so a really great example of this would be career support and career services at ASU. So ASU has its own career services unit that serves all Sun Devils and alumni. And then the Fulton Schools of Engineering, we also have our own career center that serves all of our students and alumni. And then your School of Engineering, so if you think back to that 6 school slide, they also will provide career support for you as a student. So some of the schools will do their own career fairs in addition to the other ones. Some of them will bring in faculty lecturers to talk about their experience. Some will do workshops on graduate applications in the 4+1 program. So there's a lot of different things offered. And then anything you join outside of your degree program is going to offer you additional layers of support and opportunity. So again, if you join Barrett the Honors College, they have their own career support. If you join the Grand Channel Scholars Program, they bring in industry partners to work with their students and network for career support. If you join a student organization, the majority of them have an industry partner or a professional society that have networking and career fairs and things like that for students. So you can see where you're just building all of these opportunities for yourself to build the skills and experiences that you need, not to just be a successful student, but a successful graduate. We want our students to get more than just a degree. We want you to get skills in leadership and mentoring and public speaking. We want you to have real experience on your resume so that when you are applying for grad programs or industry jobs, you have a very full resume or CV that speaks to why you are the best fit and the top candidate for that position. When you think about a resume, you know, the degree is at the top, and then you still have 3/4 of the page that you need to fill. And so we want our students to be hands-on from the very beginning. And so these customized programs or these Fulton Difference programs are things that we offer to our students to join in and be a part of. And so some of our ambassadors are going to talk about that a little bit later in their session. But if you go to this customize.engineering.asu.edu link, we have a tool, our customized tool, and you can go year by year and go through all the different programs and build a map of what your time might be like. So you can see what experiences you can have as an undergraduate student in Fulton. And when you pair that with the major map, that gives you a full glimpse into what your 4 years or 3 years or 5 years would be as a Fulton Schools student. Thank you for everyone who's putting in questions. Some of these I'm going to answer at the end. One that's a really quick answer is yes, you are able to switch majors within the Fulton Schools of Engineering. It is not difficult to do so. That information is also on the admission requirements page. Depending on what degree program you enter in, there might be different criteria for switching into another program in Fulton Schools of Engineering or ASU generally. As long as you're in good academic standing, you just meet with the advising team of the program you want to switch into, and they will help you switch your major. Some of them will have you watch a video or do like a Canvas course that has a couple different modules in it to switch the program. that you can find details on which programs those are that have different criteria for changing a major on the admission requirements page. But a lot of students are going to change the major. About 40% of students in college will change their major. And so you want to think about a place that offers you a lot of choices in case you do decide to change. You don't have to leave that university to find the program that you want. More than likely, you're going to find it at ASU because we have over 400 programs that we offer to students. And these other ones we'll get to in just a minute. So this slide right here is actually, there's a page on our website where you can also see this information. It's just really talking about outcomes for our students. These are average salaries, so pooling all the student salaries that have been reported. This is the average, so they're going to see some in the 6 figures as well as students work in places like Google. I know some students who have started working at Google and they have a very lovely hiring package. This list right here are top employers of our students, but you can actually find a full list of all the employers who work with our students and recruit our students on our Career Center's website as well, called Employers on Campus, and you can see them alphabetized in there if you're wondering who is recruiting for us. But these are the companies that hire the most students from Fulton. And then you can see the working location. So yes, we do have a significant number that stay in Arizona, but we have a lot that go out of state. A lot of students do internships out of state during the year as well, and during the summer. Students that do study abroad or REUs, research experiences for undergraduate students. So you can find all of this on our website too in more detail. One of the things that we always get questions about is residential life. So our students at ASU live in academic residential communities. So that means that if you are a Barrett Honors student, you would live in the Barrett Honors College, whether you were at the Tempe campus or at the Polytechnic campus. And Poly campus, they have a brand new residential community for Barrett students called Lantana Hall. So that would be a great place to be next year. At Tempe, our students who are not Barrett live in Tucker House. And Tucker House is our newest residential community open to our students. And there's a virtual tour of Tucker on our website that you could watch. At Poly, students who are not in Barrett would live in Century Hall. And if you have any questions about residential life, you can always ask us in the Q&A or ask the students in the Q&A as well. One of the things, especially for the students who are seniors in high school right now, we just want to make sure everyone's aware of the funding cycle for scholarships. So if you are a student applying to ASU, you will be automatically evaluated for the NAMUs, for the New American University scholarships. They are merit-based, and there is an estimator that is now live on the ASU website. It is now this year, it is looking at GPA and the core competencies. So if you meet the core competencies required for admission, it is not required to have an SAT or ACT score on file, but if you do have one, we encourage you to submit it. It can't hurt you, it can only help you. So you can look at that scholarship estimator to see what type of New American University scholarship you might be eligible for. And again, those you're automatically evaluated for. Then there are a series of things you can apply for. We want to make sure everyone always applies for the FAFSA. Even if you don't think you're going to qualify, you should apply for a FAFSA. Some scholarships require a FAFSA on file for you to receive it, so it's just good practice. Then the Fulton Schools of Engineering has its own scholarship portal available to our students where you can apply for scholarships. It opens November 2nd, I guess, because that's Monday, and will close February 1st. The ASU portal is actually already open for ASU scholarships that you can apply for. So you can find that on the ASU website. If you're an international student, there are international student resources also available online. And then if you have questions about our Fulton School scholarships and support, Nikki's team is available. They host like office hours and things via Zoom. And you can always email their team if you have questions. I see a question about, is it required to live on campus for your first year or strongly suggested? So non-Barrett students, it is encouraged that you live and expected that you live on campus your first year. Barrett expects their students to live on campus the first 2 years, but no, it is not required. Studies have shown that students are more successful in their first year of an academic program if they are in a residential community surrounded by students in their program. And there's a lot of support services available in the residential communities, but you do not have to if you cannot afford it or you live close and you want to live at home. After their first year, most students in Tempe live off campus unless they're in Barrett. A lot of Barrett students live on campus for all 4 years at Tempe. And then Poly does have some upperclassmen housing as well. It just depends on what you're interested in doing. And again, Barrett does have Poly housing as well for upperclassmen and first year students. So I see a program about 4+1, so I'm going to cover that right now as part of accelerated paths. So here at ASU in the Fulton Schools, we have these accelerated pathways for students. We want to accelerate your time to degree as needed and as wanted by certain students. And so this is just a pathway for someone who wants an accelerated degree. There are different pieces of this that different students can opt into. You don't have to lock in at the beginning and go all the way to the end. It's very flexible for you as a student. So right now as a high school student, some of you are probably taking dual enrollment, AP, IB credits. Here at Fulton, we offer the EFT program, which is Engineering Fast Track. They are online courses that cost $25 to take. There is no math prerequisite and no math placement test to enroll in the class. There are a variety of courses offered. We offer Intro to Engineering, Intro to the Programming Languages. We offer Calculus 1, which is our intro calculus courses. And so you can enroll in these courses. If you get a C or higher in the class, then you would pay the course fee if you want it converted to a college level transcript. It is a college course acceptable at any university that accepts ASU credit. And so we encourage students who are looking again to accelerate their time to degree, look at dual enrollment AP or Engineering Fast Track. You complete those courses while you're in high school, and we encourage you to participate in our programming to make sure that your courses are going to translate into the degrees that you're interested in. Some of the programs require certain levels of math or physics or chemistry, and so we don't want you to have to retake them if you have the opportunity to kind of knock those classes out in high school. So participating in our programs or events and appointments is always encouraged. You can then apply to ASU when you finish high school and you come to ASU. You would want to work with your advisors and let them know that you're interested in accelerating your time to degree. So through the orientation process, they're going to evaluate whatever coursework you came in with, again, dual enrollment, AP, Engineering Fast Track courses, and they will help you plan your major map, adjust it as needed, and plan for your time. But if you are a student who wants to do an accelerated track, you would apply for that accelerated track at the end of your third year or term 6 on a major map. That's when you apply to +1. And so then if you're admitted into a +1 program, your last year as an undergraduate student, so terms 7 and 8, you will take higher level coursework. It's usually about 12 to 16 credits. It doesn't mean more coursework than the rest of your peers. It's just higher level coursework. So they're grad level courses that will count as both undergraduate and graduate level coursework. And then you graduate with your bachelor's and you can come back for one more year and complete your master's. So instead of having 2 years for a master's, you would only have 1. We waive the GRE, which is the grad level exam, similar to the MCAT or the LSAT. If you're in the +1 program, we waive that. So that's nice. Saves you some money and some study time as well. And there's no penalty if you decide to do the +1 and take the classes and then you graduate and maybe you get a job offer or you decide to go into a full master's or a full PhD, there's no penalty. So applying for a +1 is a great option for students. And for those students who came in with the AP, dual enrollment, IB credit, Engineering Fast Track, a lot of those students are actually doing a 3+1 instead of a 4+1. So instead of doing the 3 years of an undergraduate, 1 year of the combined coursework, and then 1 year for a master's, they're only doing 2 years of the main undergraduate, 1 year of the combined undergrad graduate level coursework, and then 1 more year to complete the master's. So a total of 4 years instead of 5. And if you have a New American University scholarship, those merit scholarships that I mentioned, those are good for 8 semesters or 4 years. So if you earn a merit scholarship and you do a 3+1, that merit scholarship would cover and be contributed to your 3+1 years. So you get a master's and a bachelor's in the time that it takes other people just to complete 1 degree. So it's a really great option. If you're interested in any of these accelerated things that I've mentioned, you can go to our accelerated website. It's also linked in the sheet that Mike provided, and that resources web link. And those students who are interested in the 3+1 and really kind of accelerating through that degree program, there are major maps for most of our programs that show how your coursework while you're in high school might contribute to that first year. So how your dual enrollment or your AP or EFT courses would contribute into that first major map year. And if you have questions about it, you can always request an appointment with our staff or our advisors, and we can kind of help show you how that works. But there's also a video on the 3+1 tools page that walks you through how to use the tools. So just some things that we always want to remind you, you can always engage with us, engage through our website, the audio tours. We'll have a virtual tour launch at the end of this year, early next year. Attend events. We host events all the time, like More to Explore, and different opportunities for you to engage with staff, faculty, and students, or again, set an appointment to meet one of our ambassadors via Zoom. We offer different workshops like Fulton Fundamentals, which allow you to deep dive into the different disciplines. That's highlighted on our website. And then again, we have a variety of sessions offered the rest of this week. These are some of them. Make It Happen is our entrepreneurship and innovation session with Dr. Brent Siebold. Fabulous. It's a great session to attend. If you're interested in research, there's a whole session on our research opportunities. The construction programs have a session. Our aviation programs have a session. If you're interested in material science and engineering or human systems engineering, they have sessions. So there's a lot more than just what's listed on the slide offered this week in More to Explore. And I'm going to let the students introduce themselves, and then I will go into these discipline-specific questions. And Mike can also help with those. And then if you have questions about engineering fast track and accelerated paths, go to that resource toolkit link that Mike has provided in the chat, and it will be listed in there. It's also listed on our main Fulton page under degrees and accelerated. You can find it that way, or at the end of the session, you can email us and we can have a chat and walk you through that as well. All right, David, you ready?
Yes.
All right, go for it.
So hi, my name is David. I am a sophomore studying robotics engineering and software engineering on a Polytechnic campus. I moved high school in my junior year. Before moving to Arizona, I actually lived in Oklahoma, but eventually graduated from Flagstaff High School. While I'm not in my college classes, I will spend time attending events hosted by the Bear Day Honors College and the Grand Challenge Scholars Program. I want to talk about a Grand Challenge Scholar Program because it is a program embedded within the Fulton School of Engineering. And it is a helpful program to allow engineering students to actually explore real world problems, talk to actual experts in the fields, and then design solutions as a team and talk about those solutions with all the other people. I'm also part of the Software Developers Association, which is a student Fulton organization that helps computer science students and software students to find jobs or internships easily. On the weekends, I normally participate in major league hacking events like hackathons with all my friends, which is pretty fun because you have sleepless nights trying to program something really cool. The most recent one I attended, we programmed some calorie calculator, and I learned a new language using JavaFX, which is something I never used, but it was just fun learning a new language, working on a product as a team, and learn from all the other experts in the field. So it's really fun. If you have any questions about living on campus, on a Polytechnic campus, and anything about my major, I'm happy to answer those questions for you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kira Sanford. I'm a senior right now, and I'm from Surprise, Arizona. I've been in Arizona all my life. And originally, when I joined ASU as a freshman, I was a computer science major. But the more I progressed through that track, I realized I liked programming, but more on the creative aspects of it. So I ended up switching my major to informatics. And when I'm not in class, I'm spending my time doing events such as this as a Fulton ambassador. I'm also involved in Women in Computer Science, which is a lot like SOTA that was previously mentioned. And it's more focused to building up women and other minorities in computer science, hosting different workshops and events for us to interact with also different industries. And I will also studied abroad in my sophomore year for a semester in Italy. So if you have any questions related to studying abroad or the SIDSI school with informatics or computer science, I can help with that.
Hi everyone, I'm Rashad. I'm a junior studying computer science with a concentration in cybersecurity on the Tempe campus, and I'm from Chandler, Arizona. And some things I'm involved in outside of class are Fulton Ambassadors, which is what you're seeing right now. I'm also a student in Barrett the Honors College, and I'm a research assistant in the FACT lab, which is a research lab within SIDSI. And some other things I'm involved in are a club on campus called PCs for Refugees, which refurbishes old computers and donates them to refugee families that are living throughout the Phoenix area.
Awesome, thank you, everybody. So if you have any questions for our students, again, you can always put them in the Q&A. I am going to go through some of these Q&A questions right now, but oh, Kim's email's on here. My email, Kim Robinson actually is our coordinator based at the Polytechnic campus. So you can email either of us as well. And we can connect with you later. You'll probably receive an email from us within the next couple of weeks for attending as well. So you can follow up then if you have more things that you're interested in. For the students who were interested in the computing programs, I did provide a link in our Zoom chat that's to the computing session tomorrow. It's a SIDSI session hosted by our SIDSI faculty. Ryan Muth and Phil Miller are part of the SIDSI lecture team, and Dr. Miller oversees the capstone program, which students participate at the end of their time. And they're basically going through all of the SIDSI computing disciplines, how they're different, how they're the same, what the job outcomes are, what the applications are. So Kira's programs, the software program, computer science, all of those things are going to be covered. So we encourage you to attend that session, and I provided the registration link here. I've sat in that session multiple times and I learned something new every single time. So I think it's a great session to pay attention to. The computer gaming certificate, Mike did provide the major information for that certification in the Q&A field. Certificates have a certain number of credits for each cert that you can add on into your program. So there's gaming courses. Any student can add that certificate. So you'll see some students in different disciplines adding it. One of the other things that's really interesting and cool for students to do is to join student organizations like your students have talked about, and like SOTA, the Software Developers Association, which is I think like the largest Fulton student org at this point. It's a pretty large org. And so that's another way to get really hands-on as well. And then I think digital culture, it's not a degree housed in Fulton, but it has Fulton faculty who are a part of that program. So students who are interested in gaming and maybe more of the art side might be interested in that certificate as well. That's another one of those interdisciplinary partnerships that you see at ASU. So if you're interested in that, through the link Mike provided, you can find some of the other certificates that ASU offers. I'm going to answer that.
You can pursue that certificate regardless of your major, whether you're in Fulton Schools of Engineering or not. The one student that asked a question about the difference between computer science and information technology, certainly what Kaylee said is really important. If you can attend tomorrow's session, great. Basically though, the 5 cent sort of talk on that is, in computer science, that's a true theoretical science. So you are taking an awful lot of mathematics. So you're probably taking, I think, 6 courses in mathematics, 3 of which are your calculus series. And, for those of you that are interested in things like artificial intelligence and machine learning and, blockchain technology, that might be a way to go. Information technologists, you're going to take much less math because what you're interested in doing is not necessarily designing new things, but making existing software systems better. and increasing their capability to do things better. So in either field, you can do things like cybersecurity and that kind of thing. But the difference is whether or not you want to develop and design new things, or whether you're working with existing technologies.
I don't know if David wants to jump in, and he's software. So I don't know, David, you want to mention a little bit about software too, just because students who tend to be interested in CS and IT, software usually follows not far after
and
that.
I think it's one of the most confusing part about the computer things, because you have software engineering, you have computer science, which has the name computer in it, then you have computer engineering, right? Initially, I was also overwhelmed with things, but basically it boils down to computer engineering being a mix of hardware development and software development. So you take a lot of circuitry classes, and there are a lot of math classes as well. In terms of software engineering, you kind of just remove yourself from the hardware part and so focus fully on developing software. So the backend things, doing a lot of programming and coding. So that's pretty much what you're gonna be working on. But at the end of the day, they're both engineering. So the idea of engineering is to try to solve a problem, right? Like whether if it's a real world problem that we all face, or it's a company problem that your employer would want you to solve. At the end of the day, it's all just solving problems using computers, but one is taking a super software coding approach. The other one's a mix of hardware and software. So that's my understanding of it.
Rashad, do you have anything you want to add about CS and cyber? So he has a concentration. Okay. So that was one of some programs you can pick concentrations. So those degree videos would really help you too. But you, Rashad, if you want to add anything about CS in there.
I think Michael and David explained it pretty well, but since you wanted to hear about the concentration, what concentrations are is they're within a specific major. It basically gives you like a set path for your electives in your 3rd and 4th years. So for CS, there's 2 concentrations. There's cybersecurity and software engineering, which is kind of confusing because there's also a separate software engineering major. So with CS, the first 2.5 years or so, your base is going to be, like, as Michael said, a lot of math classes and a lot of like theoretical kind of low-level programming classes where you learn a little bit about how the computers work themselves and how you get to developing like applications and software on top of that. And then from there, you can choose either of the concentrations if you would like to do cybersecurity or software engineering, or you can just do a regular CS degree where you can pick all the electives yourself. So it's really up to you if you want to have that focus or not. And you can always take classes from the concentrations, even if you're not in them.
And then one that not a lot of people know about, but kind of falls in the same boat, is kind of Kira said she started in a different discipline and ended up in it, is informatics. So I don't know if Kira wants to mention a little bit about how she chose that program or what's similar and kind of the students might be interested in.
Yeah, the way informatics was compared to computer science and how it was explained for me was computer science is more focused on taking code and making it efficient, whereas informatics is taking that code that the computer scientist made and making it usable for someone who, say, doesn't know a lot of programming and wants to still work on something that does require that. That's what the informatics does, is forming that bridge. But yeah, that's
a really good. I like that.
Yeah, as my roommate's friend explained it to me, I'm like, I like that. I'm going to use it.
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Yeah.
Can I just add one thing?
Yeah.
The last thing is that I talked to a lot of students who are freshmen who had the same question. I think the biggest thing for students is, yes, it's you will be confused initially, but the best part about that is you can get to meet people, ask questions, even ask your professors and learn these majors yourself, take classes for yourself and get an understanding for yourself. And then based on those, you can choose what is right for you, because I think ASU is extremely flexible in terms of curriculums within those fields. So it's definitely a great idea to talk to your professors, even your friends, and see what they come up with and find your own definitions.
Yes, definitely. So I just wanted to show the undergraduate degree page. Again, the toolkit that Mike linked is this page right here, and it connects you to a lot of different things. The undergraduate degree page is one, again, for students who are trying to learn more about the different disciplines. This is a great resource. These are the videos that you can watch. They're anywhere from 10 to 16 minutes. The 16-minute difference is the ambassadors at the end who are talking. Some of them talk a little bit longer than others about their programs because they love them so much. So we would encourage you to watch those, especially if you're trying to decide between the programs. But for deciding what programs are heavy in programming languages or heavier in math, heavier in physics, biology, chemistry, you really want to look at a major map. So again, the videos will look at those briefly, but this page links all of the major maps for each of our programs, or you can go to ASU degree search, academic programs. I have mine pinned to the Fulton or engineering and tech programs at ASU. And so you can see the different major maps and the course maps for the different programs. You can also look at minors and certificates and graduate programs. But if you're trying to see what the courses are made of, you can pick a map. So for example, there's a question about mechanical and aerospace. I'm going to look at mechanical. So mechanical and aerospace have very similar major maps for the first year to 2 years. They're pretty similar. There might be one or two differences. The aerospace and mechanical differ, but when you come into these major maps, it's broken out by term. So that's like your first semester. And this is your course list of what is required. And so you can click on the classes and see what these different classes are. So you can see that you have calculus, intro to ASU 101, you have chemistry, an English requirement, intro to engineering, and then an elective. And so if you're looking at the programming languages, you can kind of scroll through. Introduction to MATLAB is a programming language, but it's a 1-credit course. I think it's even just taught online now and not required in person because it's not as involved. And you can see all these different classes will have descriptions of different courses and things like that. The other thing that I would say too is obviously something that is computer science, computer systems engineering is going to have a lot more programming languages, computer science, than obviously mechanical engineering, but there are different pieces to different programs. So I know some students in some programs might use AutoCAD, where some in other programs aren't going to use that. So it just depends on what it is you're looking at. The other thing too is you'll find a lot of the students who are in the computing disciplines, not only are they taking classes in programming languages, but they're teaching themselves or learning other languages outside of those that they might see in their first couple of years. And they're either doing that independently or in their student organizations. So if you're a student who doesn't have the programming languages in your curriculum, you can still take those classes, or you can go outside of your classes and do those things too. I know I used to run the tutoring centers, and I think it was a first-year student the second semester, and he just started teaching himself a bunch of different languages before they were even taught in school. So that's just something that you can do.
For the student interested in programming and mechanical, maybe take a peek at the major map for mechanical engineering with a concentration on computational mechanics. And there's a couple of more courses in that field where you're going to probably take some.
If that's what you want. I think you were asking, I think you said if it was heavier or lighter. Mm-hmm. But the other thing to do, again, you can always schedule an appointment with the staff advising students, and they can kind of walk you through what some of your questions are. And then the last question that we have in here, which I saved for last because it's Barrett. And so it's a little bit more complicated. So Barrett, the Honors College at ASU, can attach to any degree program. So it is a separate application than the ASU application. I would encourage you to look at the More to Explore schedule and find the Barrett sessions. They are going to go into great detail about Barrett and the application process. There is an application deadline that is fast approaching. So you want to look at those deadlines. And if you're a student who isn't through 9th through 11th grade, the Barrett application usually opens right after Labor Day. And then you have to have an ASU application on file and an ASU ID number to be able to apply to Barrett. Barrett generally selects more students in that first big pool, statistically speaking. So if you are interested in applying, we always encourage you to be in the first pool of applicants as well. And then this year, they are going test blind. So they do not require an ACT or an SAT for admission into Barrett, the Honors College. So that's another reason why we encourage you to attend their sessions, just because the application is a little bit different this year, but it does have essay questions. It requires letters of recommendation. It's looking at you holistically as a student. And so it's definitely separate than the ASU application, but we encourage students to participate. We make up about 27-28% of the Barrett Honors College, and you can enter Barrett. You can apply when you're in high school as a 12th grade student, you can apply your first semester, and you can apply between your second and third years at ASU. Barrett, the Honors College, out of your 120 credits that you need to complete a degree at ASU, there's a certain portion of them, I think it's 36, that have to be Barrett credits, and you can get them a variety of ways. It's really custom to the student. So you have your human event, which is the seminar courses you take your first year. You have a Barrett thesis, which you do your last year, you have to do to graduate. And then in between there is where you fill in with the rest of those credits. So research, study abroad, internships can count towards credit. You can take honors sections of courses that already exist and honors seminars, or you can do honors contracts with your faculty and your courses you're already registered in. And so you would just connect with your faculty and ask them to do a contract with you. And then together you would decide what would make that course an honors level course. It could be an assignment. It could be an extra question on a test. It could be manning the class Facebook page, which I've heard of multiple times. So you have a couple of different ways to get those honors credits. So it's definitely something that is possible for students. We definitely encourage it. They have a lot of additional resources for you if you're interested in it and if it's a good fit for you. So we encourage you to check out the Barrett sessions as well. And with that, do we have any other questions today? I'm going to put our email back up for anyone who needs it. You can always reach out to us if you have any questions. And we have a variety of other sessions this week, so feel free to join in on those. While we're waiting to see if there's any more questions, we just want to thank you for attending today. Thank you to our students for joining us. And we hope to hear from you soon or see you soon on campus or virtually on Zoom. And so you can always follow up with us later.